Welcome to Brain Bitesize. Today we're tackling a controversial question. Are narcissists inherently evil? Stick around until the end for a perspective that might change your view of this contentious topic. Understanding narcissism. At its core, narcissism is characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance. Individuals with narcissistic tendencies typically have an overwhelming need for admiration and a sense of entitlement. They often fantasize about unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. However, beneath this facade of ultra-confidence lies a fragile self-esteem, vulnerable to the slightest criticism. What sets narcissists apart is their lack of empathy, the inability to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. This lack of empathy is a key component that fuels other problematic behaviors, such as taking advantage of others for personal gain, an inability to maintain healthy relationships, and a tendency to belittle or demean those they perceive as threats or inferiors. The debate on evil. On one side of the argument, some assert that narcissists, with their manipulative, self-centered, and often harmful behaviors, align closely with what many would define as evil. This perspective is particularly prevalent among those who have suffered at the hands of narcissists, where the pain and trauma inflicted seem to be a clear manifestation of malignancy. The argument here hinges on the observable outcomes of narcissistic behavior, the emotional and psychological damage inflicted on others, often without remorse. However, there's a call for a more nuanced understanding on the other side of the debate. Critics of the narcissists are evil viewpoint argue that such a blanket label is not only an oversimplification, but also a potentially harmful one. They point out that narcissism, particularly in its more extreme forms, is recognized as a personality disorder by mental health professionals. From this perspective, selfish behaviors, while undoubtedly destructive and painful for those on the receiving end, are symptoms of a deeper psychological issue. This viewpoint raises important questions about free will, mental health, and the nature of evil itself. Is it fair or accurate to label someone as inherently evil if their harmful actions stem from a mental health condition? The impact of narcissistic behavior. Individuals who have endured relationships with narcissists often report a range of negative outcomes. These include emotional trauma, decreased self-esteem, and sometimes even physical symptoms due to stress. Narcissists, with their need for dominance and admiration, can create an environment of constant anxiety for those around them. Their lack of empathy and tendency to manipulate others for personal gain can lead to significant psychological harm. This is especially true in close relationships, where the imbalance of power and affection can leave lasting scars. Moreover, the effects of narcissistic behavior extend beyond personal relationships. In workplaces, narcissistic individuals may create toxic environments, promoting a culture of fear and competition rather than cooperation and respect. Their inability to accept criticism and their need for constant praise can stifle growth and innovation, impacting the overall health of an organization. Mental health perspective. This condition is characterized not just by superficial vanity or self-absorption, but by a deep-seated sense of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy that can significantly impact interpersonal relationships. It's important to understand that individuals with NPD often have their roots in complex psychological backgrounds. Many theories suggest that such traits may develop as coping mechanisms for deep-seated insecurities or past traumas. This perspective invites us to consider that their harmful and often destructive actions might not stem from inherent malice, but rather from an ingrained defense mechanism against perceived threats to their fragile self-esteem. Moral and ethical considerations. At the heart of this debate is the issue of accountability versus empathy. On one hand, there's a strong argument for holding individuals accountable for their actions, especially when those actions cause harm to others. Narcissistic behaviors, which often include manipulation, emotional abuse, and exploitation, can have devastating effects on the victims. It's natural for society to seek accountability for these actions, labeling them morally and ethically wrong. However, the other side of the coin presents a more empathetic view, considering the possibility that narcissists may be acting from a place of psychological compulsion rather than deliberate malice. If narcissism is indeed a mental health disorder, it raises questions about the extent to which individuals can be held fully responsible for behaviors that are symptomatic of their condition. This perspective urges us to consider the role of mental health in shaping behavior, and to approach the issue of narcissism not just with condemnation, but also with an attempt to understand and address the underlying psychological factors. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to Brain Bitesize for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, keep your brain in bite-sized pieces.